So what are you dreaming about now? What are you focusing on?
Well,
the film just came out, right? In last year, you're distributing it. You're here at Wild and Scenic as part of that. Is that one of your main focuses? Are you working on your writing or activism?
it's hard for me to explain.
He's like, I'm just here right now.
Yeah, no, it's hard for me to explain what I do. I mean, because I just take. I mean, in one way, I erase days. That's what I do.
How you what?
I erase days.
Oh, you erase days.
I erase the day, right? And I get up every day to erase the day I'm going through and look for another day to erase. So, but I write. I do my writing when it happens. I still do my music stuff when it happens. I go out and I do some speaking stuff, right? And I'm starting to work on this. Actually, I'm getting involved in this hemp project, but it's HempsteadProjectHeart.com. That's a website. Right?
What is the website?
Hempstead.
Oh, Hempstead Project. Okay.
HempsteadProjectHeart.com, and HEART stands for Hemp Energy Alternative Resource Technologies.
Nice.
And so there's a website that kind of explains where we're coming from on this, and it links to other websites, but we're not creating an organization where we're trying to get people to join us. It's more here's this reality about hemp, and we're trying to get people to look at it, and if it makes sense to them, to act upon it. Because what we would like, we are looking at getting people to recognize the value of hemp as hemp by its own identity. We're not talking about medical marijuana. We're talking about hemp and its relationship to the evolution of the human beings and human civilization, because hemp has a very integral relationship. And we've always used hemp. It's always been a part of our lifestyle and lifestyle necessity. From making paper to making shelter. I mean, without hemp, they couldn't have made the sails that they put on the ships to discover the world.
That's true.
See, so I mean, how integral it is to our evolution, and how we always recognize that, and we always had a relationship with it. And then, you know, in the 1880s, hemp was the largest cultivated crop on the planet. You know, the first grow laws in America were grow hemp laws. You know, see, so I mean,
changed a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, no, the thing. Well, and so we're looking at hemp now, so anyway, we keep hearing the progressives and the left, and we keep hearing everybody talking about a green economy. We keep hearing everybody talk about an alternative energy, an alternative economic green economy energy. We hear this sloganeering going on all the time. But so we're looking at with a practical reality, hemp could make this sloganeering an actual reality. You know, on an acre of land, you can get like 300 or 50 barrels of oil, 660 barrels. Anyway, all right, from the seeds, and you get all this tonnage.
I had no idea.
From the husk, the husk, the outer husk, and the outer stalk and the inner stalk. You get all this fiber and stuff, you know. So you can make concrete, you can make clothes, you can make paper, you can make. Got the most nutritious. One of the most nutritious foods come out of hemp, and it's a renewable crop, so it makes oxygen for a sky that is being suffocated by carbon monoxide. It does it on a renewable basis. It makes a better quality of paper than a tree does. So hemp does all of these things. And when we look at it, and because environmentalists have been, and natives have been mentioned earlier. Well, see, I think that environmentalists, I mean, this is just a personal attitude of mine, but the environmentalists, that whether they're for wind or solar or water or any of this, I think that they should really look at hemp and make it inclusive to what they're already, because hemp seed, you don't have to have a lot of money
to grow it.
To grow hemp. Whereas with solar, or make a wind farm, see, you got to have this dinero, man. All right, but here it's something that could go into every man's hands, so to speak.
So you're working to kind of redefine that and demonstrate the valuable
to see how much
impacts,
to see how much consciousness we can raise around. Because because I mean, there's a couple of views on this. I mean, things on it, not to be stepping on any toes or anything, but people can occupy Wall Street all they want, but that's just, in the end, it's just crying around about you're not being fair.
Yeah.
I mean, telling somebody is not being fair, they know they're not being fair, and they don't care. All right.
Yeah, so, they already knew they weren't fair.
They already knew that, so we're telling them what? Say, all right, as long as you're just crying around about it, we don't care.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, and not to be disrespectful
to
what people are doing, because that's not my. But to me, the deal. I'm going to use hemp as an example. There are other things. But if we put the same amount of time and energy into raising the awareness and consciousness of hemp, we would truly be helping the 99%. We would, because it would help the farmers. All right, it would help the earth. It's environmentally sound and safe. You don't need pesticides. You don't need any of this stuff. So it would be helpful to the farmers. It would be helpful to the earth environment. It would help to create industries that go along with it, because you could grow vast amounts of acreage.
So you're saying instead of just complaining, to actually look at some solutions. So okay, being the devil's advocate there.
Why would you want to be the devil's
advocate? I don't know.
Advocate?
Well, we're gonna because okay, for example, we had the Occupy Nevada County folks come by on their parade. So occupying Alcatraz, being a part of the American Indian movement. Do you think though that there is a necessary part where before you can think of the solutions and maybe they work hand in hand, now that you have to start creating some kind of I don't know if it's making noise, but I mean just kind of shaking things up, awareness. That's what I'm looking for.
Well,
in support of the Occupy.
Well, Occupy Alcatraz was almost 50 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. It was in the 20th century. We're in the 21st century.
Yes.
And
it's revolutionized.
Yeah. No, I mean, but when I just really look at it, all right. And Occupy Alcatraz was in a different context. We went to physically occupy a piece of land to stress a point. All right.
Yeah. That belonged to.
What they had to do with the legal structure. All right. And that worked for us in that time and place. But now when you go and see, we could physically occupy.
Yes.
But the Occupy movement that's going on now, they can't physically occupy what they say they're occupying.
Yeah.
I mean, certain questions. I mean, and I'm not trying to get down on anything, but to me, it's like what's going on now. It's more of an emotional reaction rather than a well thought out, respect the creative power of our intelligence, thought out action. People are emotionally reacting, and I'm saying that the predator oppressor class. The system is designed to absorb emotional reaction, just outlast it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because when I look at, I understand. I mean, on one level, yeah, they're out there making noise and they're saying something. I agree with that. See, but then on another level, we went out and we did all this stuff 40 years ago, 50 years ago. All right, and it didn't work, did it? So now for people to come along now and try it the same way we tried it tells me something is missing here. This is what the point I'm getting at, right? Is that they're trying the same thing. It's almost like my generation. If I was the generation behind us, don't trust my generation. I'll say this straight out. Don't trust my generation. We did the best that we could. All right, under our circumstances, and now here we are telling you to do it like we did it.
Yeah.
But obviously, the way we did it didn't work.
So you have to redefine it, which is kind of.
That's exactly right. See, this is my concern because this is how that oppressor class stays in its position of authority, because we just keep doing the same old thing over.
So we have to redefine it. Well, and that's been the value too, John, of having folks like you come here today for the Wild and Scenic Film Fest, because our hope is that we'd be demonstrating to people there are solutions, and sharing the stories and hopefully invoking some emotion for people to feel something about it, right? The stories. And then but you're right, redefining that. Sam, was there, I know we got to get ready to wrap up. So.
Okay. As an example, all of the time and energy that was put into Occupy Wall Street and raising that awareness, if that same amount of time and energy had been put into organizing the American public, look, this is all about money.
Yeah.
So let's organize 30% of the population not to spend any money on the same day as a coordinated,
agree, like some
coordinated
campaigns, yeah.
action. Don't spend any money on the same day. Let's get as large a percentage of people together to do this as we can. That they'll understand.
Yeah, I think what you're saying there is because it's highly individualized, because it's an individual action that we can do. It's really strategic,
And you protect your identity.
and it's also it's really well thought out. You know.
See, and you're protecting your identity. People better get up. Number one, and the other thing I would say about the Occupy Wall Street, because these are to me real issues that need. I'm not
Yes.
trying to fashion.
Yeah, you're not.
But they're saying they're trying to say to the 1% that you got to change.
Yeah.
But no. Occupy Wall Street is going on, all right, about this 99% and how the 1% is doing us. But then you turn around and they had this thing called Black Friday.
Yes,
And
where
Black
people
Friday,
are
the
fighting
90
over waffle makers.
No, the 99% spent more money on that Black Friday. They set records, right?
It's
Records on the
crazy.
amount of
I
money they
know.
spent. But this is, so the 99%'s got to communicate to the other 99%.
So it's also being responsible for ourselves and our own.
Yeah.
You got to start with yourself, like what you were saying, creating your own sense of reality, but also being able to communicate that, which is what we're trying to do here today too. Is
It's because I think things need to.
I agree, yeah.
Things need to be opened up for discussion. There needs to be some real serious philosophical discussion going on about where we're headed. But everybody just going back to doing it the way we used to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why you're here, is to remind us of that.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I want
Missy.
to thank you for taking some time out of the day, for coming to the film festival, coming to Nevada City. It's really wonderful just knowing you're here. Thank
Well,
you
no,
so
I
much.
appreciate it. I like it here.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
good.
Thanks for giving us some things to think about and taking responsibility for our actions.
Yeah, that's
John
right.
Trudell, he's hanging out here at the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching us as we broadcast live here from Nevada City, California. And we'll be right back. Thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Did
that's
it.
great.